24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
I'll kick with you if you do it. Hey, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. It's going to be another magnificent weekend as this Monday starts. We invite you to be a part of things as we start talking to you about early childhood care and education. And Ms. Deborah Boyden joins us. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is reminding you.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard.
And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome. And thank you very much for joining us, and to Ms. Deborah Boyden. Thanks very much for coming in. Sometimes, some days, the way we come into a space, we bring this energy. Is it negative? Is it positive? Is it confusing, conflicting, and somehow we conflate the good and the bad and ugly? But with people like you who are so sincerely invested in our children, especially their early development, thank you.
You're welcome.
I hope you have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
All right, well, Ms. Deborah Boyden, the Early Childhood Care and Education Officer. Yeah, well, she's an officer. We just need to find a gentleman now. Mr. Paul? She's like, no, I don't think so. I'll try to be that. But when we see, either families and countries invest in their people, especially their, younger ones, we can see great dividends. It probably might not manifest itself until, a generation or two later. But I believe that if we don't, the negative impacts are immediate. At least that's my view. I say that to share that I wonder to what extent if we are, as they tell us, this microwave mentality, as my coach says, we want everything instantly. We have that gratification. If we understand that and appreciating that this type of investment takes time to pay off, but noticing that if we don't nurture, care, love, invest, be an example, that child learns something that isn't helpful. Wonder why we don't do more. It's just a thought. I was pontificating all weekend. Help me to solve my philosophical dilemma.
Well, it is important to invest in our early childhood children. As you say, we may not see the results immediately, but they will, as they grow and develop, we'll see those results. So that's why we have the Early Childhood Assistance Program to invest in our 3-year-old Caymanian children.
Well, tell us about that, because just the need ECAP, sometimes we'll put a cap on something. Sometimes if you study certain courses, there's a capstone course. This is all, encapsulating that. But if we don't make that approach, I think successful governments have to be commended for having this assistance. Now, it's for 3-year-olds?
It's for 3-year-old Caymanian children,
okay.
Yes. If they're, and it is a means-tested, financially means-tested funding program.
Well, take us through it, because I think that we're seeing not just the increasing challenges financially for families to make ends meet, not even getting to the point where they try to save for a rainy day, as it were. They're just trying to stay afloat today, keep the head above water. But this program, how do we access it? Or when does it become sort of, open. Tell us about it, Ms. Dabra.
Sure. Okay, so it will launch for 2024-2025 school academic year on April 8th of 2024. So in a few weeks, it will be ready to launch. It is an online application. So you go to moeapplications.gov.ky and you would access it there. If you go to it now, it will not be up until April 8th when you will find it there. And then you would click to apply and you go through the steps. It will guide you through the steps. The first step is an eligibility step, which asks for the right to be Caymanian, so the official letter from work for the right to be Caymanian.
That annoys me, but anyway, I'll take about another time.
Okay, so we do have to have proof that the child is Caymanian, and then also we'll ask about your child's age. Your child would have to be 3 by September 1st of 2024. So that would be for the children that are born between September 1st, 2020 to August 31st, 2021.
Okay.
There are some extenuating circumstances that we'll consider children that are younger, and we can talk about those as well.
Okay.
And then it looks at the financial means testing. So for families that have one dependent, the ceiling rate is $3,413. And for families that have more than one dependent, the ceiling rate is $4,998 per month.
Okay. And with that in mind, then they will be able to go to, they have to be, I call them preschools. Is there another more appropriate term?
Well, we call them early childhood care and education centers or settings because they can also be affiliated with a school, for example.
Okay. And they have to be the registered, recognized license?
They have to be registered by the Education Council, correct.
So any of those facilities that cater to these students, whether they're part of a school or a standalone entity, for-profit or NGO or otherwise, that's fine once they're registered, recognized, and licensed?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's now for that year, the school will receive the funds directly. So
yeah, the funding does get paid directly at the beginning of the month to each of the centers, so that it doesn't go to the parents, but it goes to the center on behalf of the parents to go towards the tuition fee.
Now you reminded us that it opens Monday the 8th, which is 2 Mondays from now.
Correct.
Is there a closing deadline?
We do not have a closing deadline, so I guess technically the closing deadline would be August 31st, 2025 when it stops. But we do not have a closing deadline. As long as the funding is still available and in the budget, it would continue to be open.
Now, as we go into the break, I just want, let's say for some reason a family now, for whatever reason, they say, you know what, between now and say December, they think, we got this. We'll manage to pay for it. We think we can do it. But somewhere in that time, things change. They can still apply.
Of course they can.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's an open application, just not open yet.
Yes, just not open yet. The one that's open right now would be for the 2023-2024 period.
Right.
But yes.
See that? And she answered my question for it. So this is, I think, a demonstration of both you and your team's commitment to that, the importance of early childhood, but then the government finding funding for eligible people. It is mean tested. When we come back from our break, take us through some more, help us to understand maybe some of the criteria. You did reference a few, but we can go through it and get an understanding.
Sure.
All right. Well, if you're looking for the Early Childhood Assistance Program, I'll get Ms. Dabra to share with us a little bit more so that we understand. They're a fantastic team. I can always say that. They've always been so grateful and gracious. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Shop the Brand Source Home Gallery Senior Citizen Sale.
In honor of our seniors, Brand Source Home Gallery is offering a 15% discount now until April 6 on appliances, mattresses, plumbing and bath fixtures, lighting, ceiling fans, kitchen cabinets, custom closets, and more. And I heard right, 15% off store-wide.
If you are over the age of 60, you can purchase for your family and friends. Just show your ID. It's that easy to save 15% with the Brand Source Home Gallery Senior Citizen Sale. Visit Brand Source on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, or call 623-5000 for details.
It's Digicel's 20th birthday bash, and you're invited. We are giving away 20 phones for 20 years. Win an iPhone or a Samsung smartphone as part of our anniversary celebration. Simply spend $20 or more at Digicel, or be an active postpaid customer, and you could be our lucky winner. It's our way of saying thank you for 20 incredible years of connection and support from our amazing customers like you. Don't miss out on this epic celebration. Go to your nearest Digicel store today and join the party. Digicel, better connected.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to Ms. Deborah Borden, the Early Childhood Care and Education Officer, as we talk about the Early Childhood Assistance Program.
Yes.
Man. And now I'm getting there. So it's starting, this new round opens, as you said, on the 8th of April, 2 Mondays hence. All right. Respectfully, tell us, again, how we access it, who is eligible. Of course, there's an age limit, as you said, sort of means tested. So take us through, Ms. Deborah.
So families can start getting ready over the next 2 weeks for the application by making sure that they have copies of their child's birth certificate.
Mm-hmm.
We also ask for a copy of a parent's government-issued ID.
Mm-hmm.
The parent's income information. So if they're employed, it can be a job letter detailing their salary and deductions for health insurance and pension, or it can be 2 recent pay slips. If they're self-employed, a notarized statement outlining the nature of their business and the average monthly salary earned, as well as a copy of their trade and business license if that's applicable. If they're unemployed, registering with Jobs Cayman, they would have to complete a release of information form with Jobs Cayman and ask for verification to be emailed to ECAP as well. So they can get those documents in place. And as I said earlier, the first document that they will upload is that letter of acknowledging the child's right to be Caymanian from work.
Okay.
So those are the documents they need.
Yes, ma'am.
It generally is for 3-year-old children. We do have some extenuating circumstances. So if the family or the parents or anyone in their direct family has some health issues, we would consider that. We would also consider traumatic or serious family emergencies, sudden job loss due to termination, an adult dependent who's unfit to work, we would take in consideration. Multiple children of the same age, so that could either be through a multiple birth or it could be through children born within 12 months to the same parents. And then if the parent is in full-time education, that is also a consideration, and a special educational need for one of their dependents. So if those circumstances are pertinent to the family, they can look at the documentation that's required to submit for that.
As I listen to you, it's not that it's exhaustive, but it sounds as if you're trying to make every accommodation to facilitate a family having some funding so that young child is assisted in some way with education at those early years.
Yes.
So 3 and all the schools, again, the early childhood centers, all of them are listed so that if you are looking at one and you're not sure, you can find out to verify if as a prospective applicant.
Yeah.
If they want to. Okay.
Yes. And you can apply for ECAP if your child is not yet in a center. We do recommend that you start looking at registering your child for a center because centers do fill up quite quickly, and we don't want you to get to the point where you had ECAP approved and then you're not able to find a space in a center.
Right. You did reference that it is means tested now. We live in an interesting time, probably very different from our parents and grandparents, and in some cases great-grandparents. So if I may ask, in a household where there are 2 individuals and they're the primary or joint caregivers, their salaries are combined.
They are combined.
And if it's one individual, that one.
The one salary.
If it's a case where it's one individual but another assists in some way, is that taken into account as well?
If it's one individual and then there's a mutual agreement for child maintenance, that would be taken into consideration. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a different world that is being increasingly formalized.
Yes.
And I have, And then the benefits, can you recap what some of the benefits that would accrue to the recipients?
Sure. So if when you apply, if you're eligible and funding is granted, supplementary funding is $500 per month. So the child would receive that $500 to go towards their monthly fee at the center. And basic funding is $305 per month. So again, that funding would go towards their fee at the center. And the determination, it's on the ECAP application. When you log in, you'll see the financial means testing chart, but it's based on the amount of money earned and the number of dependents.
Okay. And then the selection process. Now, for the first time in a long time, I feel like I want to sneeze.
Oh, no.
That's interesting. For the beneficiaries and the selection and then the disbursement of funds, any particular information you can share? And I know it's been already identified, but...
Yeah. So we're very transparent. What we're looking for is exactly the documentation that you're submitting. So if the child is Caymanian, the child falls within the age range, and the family falls within the financial means testing criteria, the funding will be approved as long as the budget is there.
Right.
Yes.
And what is interesting, and I'm glad you referenced this before, because funds are paid directly to the center, the only people who know whether funding is received, whether everybody's getting it, or you're the only person, is the center. So that level of confidentiality, the potential for any sort of stigma, otherwise, you don't have to worry about that.
Correct.
You just take your child, pick your child up, and engage with the center, and that's that.
That's right, yes.
Wow, respect, I think. and it's interesting because it not only helps the family with continued employment and childcare, but I think it's giving that child that, I don't want to use that term that we used to hear from another jurisdiction, Head Start, but gives the child a space to learn and to develop in those formative years.
Yes, and to have an opportunity to attend.
And attend. Socialize, I mean, that's very key as opposed to being at and then now, if in the instance we recognize the maximum funding and the family may only need a portion of that, they may need 50%, they may only need 10%, they may need 90%, they'll get the amount to assist with the shortfall.
They would get the either the supplementary or the basic, so either the 500 or the 305. So currently, right now, most centers are above that rate. So that yes, the families would have to contribute a portion.
Well, I think we invested. Now the way to submit it and other information, what's the way? It's all online.
Yep. So it's online. So as of April 8th, the application for ECAP 2024-2025 will be opened. They would apply online. If you follow the steps that are there at any time, if you have any questions, you can always give us a call. We also have some information days and some help days that we will be, help sessions, that we will be holding and hosting at the different libraries across Grand Cayman. in the government administration building, and we will have some information sessions at some of the grocery stores. So those will be publicized on our social media once all the dates are confirmed for those, but they'll happening April, May, and June.
With the funding, would the family need to demonstrate that they have a placement at the center, or?
They do not need to demonstrate. They can inform us which center they're going to. But if they haven't got that yet, they can go ahead and apply.
Okay.
And then closer to the date when September 1st is coming, we'll make sure that we know which center the child is at. And can I add one other item? If they do not have the right to be Caymanian letter yet, when they're filling in the application, they can submit a letter stating that they've applied or are applying for the letter, and that application will be processed. And if approved, it would give it a conditional approve until they receive that letter. So don't let the fact that you may not have the letter yet hold you up. You can apply for that and apply for us at the same time.
What would be, and that's again another convenience that you're extending, because sometimes things just take time to process. But what are the minimum sort of information? I guess the application completed, the job letter. What else is the minimum when they make the application that they have to make sure that it's submitted?
So either a letter stating that they will apply for the right to be Caymanian, a copy of the child's birth certificate, the parent's government ID, and then some information around income. And if they're applying under an extenuating circumstance, the documentation for that. And they can upload that in different formats. So we accept PDF, and then we like JPEG and TIFF and different options. So you can even take a photo on your phone and upload it directly from there.
And that government issued ID, passport, driver's license, voter's ID. If you're a civil servant, I guess that would work as well. I think
it would be the three that you mentioned:
just
the driver's license, passport picture, or your voter's ID.
Okay,
yes.
All right. And most of us have either one or all of those.
Yeah.
Okay, so that should work. All the other supporting information, and then the means testing, other than your employment or the confirmation of income if you're self-employed, and then like. Is there anything else you need to do? Do you need to do like a spreadsheet and say, assets and net worth? And
no, we do not look at personal expenditures.
Okay.
The two deductions that we take into effect and we will deduct off the monthly pay is the portion that the parent pays towards their health insurance deduction and the portion they pay towards their pension.
Okay. Which is, the legally mandated deduction. So
correct.
If you have a mortgage that's not there, if you're staying in a space where rent or strata fees or none of that. It's just your income less these mandated deductions.
Correct. Yes.
Wow. Easier than that, I don't think it would be possible.
Okay. Well, we're trying to make it easier.
No,
so
and certainly even though it's between now and the 8th, a phone call, can help to remind the listeners we can do that. And then the information sessions that you have, I know, have been beneficial. And for people who have accessed it as a result of you and your team coming on, you've seen how it's been helpful. You will, what I gather, help people to fill out the applications sometimes.
Yes, we do. Yes. And we're happy if you stop by the government building. If we're in the government building, we're happy to come down and help you or arrange a time to come and help you as well.
As we close the discussion, is there anything that from experience that you've discovered may make people a bit reticent? Some of us are a bit shy. Some of us are a bit, shamefaced. We don't want to know. Are there any things that you've come across where we can say to people, listen, don't let that stop you from making the application? Yeah.
I would say go ahead and do the application. The worst that we're going to say is no if you're above the means, the financial means testing, but it will benefit your child and make it a little bit easier to afford the center fees each month. Yeah.
And I gather that unlike, say, the catchment areas for the schools, you as the parent can determine this facility, the center that you wish to go to.
Correct. Yes,
yeah, that's your personal decision.
Yes, yes. As long as it's registered by the Education Council, yes, they have.
And then if you're not sure, of course, the center can provide it, or you can verify it with the education.
Correct.
All right.
Yes.
Wow, Ms. Dabra.
Great.
Good time to have children. Wait a minute. People might go, "What are you saying?" No. Anything else finally you want to maybe recap, remind the listeners?
I can give some contact information.
Yes,
so
please.
Our email is ECAP. It's that's not right. It's ECAP, E-C-A-P at gov.ky. So ECAP at gov.ky. The phone number is 244-3155. And you can find us on Instagram at Education Cayman and on Facebook at Cayman Islands Education. So you can watch those spaces for more information about ECAP as in the coming days and in the coming weeks.
All right. This academic year or school year opens on the 8th of April the Monday after Easter Monday.
Yes.
Make that easy. So not this Monday, but the one following.
Correct.
All right. Thanks very much.
Thank you for having me.
And as the year goes out, if you wish to come back on to talk about anything in relation to that, we're always here.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Have an excellent week, a very blessed and safe and enjoyable Easter weekend. And on Tuesday, you can come back and host it for me. She's like, I don't think so. All right, all the best to you, Miss Deborah.
Thank you.
And tell listeners, when we come back, a couple of minutes open line, and our friends from UCCI will join us. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Boddentown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Hey there, K-Man. Have a few minutes to spare? Your Ministry for Housing has just launched the public survey for the Cayman Islands Housing Policy and Strategic Plan. We are all about making our island home even better. We need your help. It's your thoughts and ideas that will shape our housing policies for the future. Your voice matters, and it's easy to get involved. Just visit cihousingplan.org and let your voice be heard. Plus, you could catch some cool gift cards just for sharing your ideas. Don't miss out. Open through April 16th. Head to cihousingplan.org or go to the ministry's Facebook, Instagram, X, or LinkedIn now and be a part of the conversation. Your input matters more than you know. Let's make Cayman's housing future brighter. Together, your voice, your future. Take the survey today.
The Ministry of Education invites eligible Caymanians to apply for a local scholarship for the 2024-2025 academic year. To apply for a local scholarship or learn more about the various scholarship offerings, please visit the Scholarship Secretariat Unit's website at www.moescholarships.gov.ky. Applications close on Tuesday, 30th of April, 2024. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us as we invite you to be a part of a few minutes of open line. Again, thanks very much to Miss Barbara Borden, the Early Childhood Care and Education Officer over in the Ministry of Education. She was sharing with us the launch of the Early Childhood Assistance Program starting on the 8th for the upcoming school year, the academic school year for 2024 to 2025. So it opens on the Monday, April 8th. Can you believe that? We're almost, into, well, I can say the first quarter of the year is gone. So please get your applications in for that. Any questions you have, you can email ecapt@gov.ky. There's also a telephone number 244-3155. Now it's good to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries and mark, significant milestones in our lives. And we know, on Saturday, Miss Nancy celebrated her anniversary, so we wish her. But also, Miss Phyllis Moxham celebrated her 77th birthday on Saturday. And of course, today is Friday, but still want to wish Miss Phyllis a very, very happy birthday. As Monday rolls in with excitement and jubilation, she can, enjoy the week and sort of take it into the Easter. So, Miss Phyllis, happy birthday to you, Mom. And that's part of what we look at. Whether you're 7 years old or you're 77, well, maybe you're like my uncle, almost 107. You give thanks, and to be surrounded with friends and family who love you, who create a space that makes you feel both wanted and welcome. And I said to share that in this respect, I recognize last Monday, a passing comment to a friend, I said, man, these phones have created this dependency that we, without them, would be so disconnected. And sometimes I wish I didn't have to rely on these phones, because not only is it a leash, and I lamented in a way, and lo and behold, immediately after the show on Friday, guess what happened? I dropped my phone. I just freshly wiped it down, sanitized it, and thankfully my mother had called and had just disconnected from her. But I was in the middle of doing something when she called, and I think like any attempt at being a good son, your mother called, you answers the phone. And as I dropped it, well, I've been with the phone all weekend. On Monday I said, boy, wouldn't it be nice to not have to have a phone? And all weekend I didn't have one. No contacts, no phones, no WhatsApps, no emails, no text, nothing. Now, that would have been nice if that was a deliberate attempt on my part to do, what is it they say, a digital detox. But to be midstream, composing an email, responding to a WhatsApp, about to make another phone call, and all of a sudden you can't because your phone isn't working. Look what happens. So if I might say a big thanks to Dennis Pascal and Miss Janice over at Cellular World. They were feverishly working. I mean, very, very, very determined. Let's just put it this way. Late into Saturday evening, he's at the desk and he's calling. He said, I'm, trying to get in touch and trying to get it fixed, And I said, you know what, this time of night, you've been at it all the time. Thank you for the efforts. He called again yesterday. And I appreciate that level of service and commitment. But it just reminds us of how easy, it is for us to become dependent on something, and in the absence of it, how we're lost. I mean, all my calendar appointments and reminders, all the contacts, everything. Without that phone, what do I do now? Now, I see how much that has become a part of our lives. And it's something that I would like to chat about at some point, because on one hand, it is personally very frustrating to see adults so glued to the screens that there's no conversation. They're spending time on this thing supposed to social media instead of accepting an invitation to even sit and watch the one-eyed monster on the screen, right? But it's to talk and to fellowship and to physical interact and socialize. But yet we complain about our young people doing the same thing, well is it that we have created an environment and we ourselves have adopted that? Well, let's take this call if we can. 949-8037 or 949-6990 or WhatsApp call at 925-32621. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
Hey, how are you?
Not bad. You got open line or you got guests?
We will have guests at 1, but for now it's open line.
Oh, well, I can talk quick then.
Oh, I can listen intently.
You're good. So you're doing okay?
I am very well. How about yourself?
Oh, not too bad. Just thankful. Sterling, I'm not here looking no brown the button, no accolade, no nothing. I was at the grocery store a couple of days ago, and there was a senior there trying to pay a little small bill, right? So I just took over instantly, not even thinking for a second. It's like all of me just came over me, just intervened. It was a moment of be able to do something to help comfort this person that I saw trying to do what she was trying to do. And there was a gentleman behind her, and I said to my sister, I need you to forgive me, and I'm sorry for stepping over you, but I need to, deal, help this woman. So she was there trying to buy something, and she had to make a choice between getting something to eat and buying a personal hygiene item. So she was putting back the hygiene item away from what she was picking up, and she went out to the little plastic bag to make up the money to get the other two little things that was in the little bags. And she had some silver, and I just said to her, I said, Miss, don't worry. I said to the cashier, please give her back the money. I'm going to pay for the couple of things that she has. And then you put the other item into it. So I gave her some money, told her I must buy lunch. She said, must I pay for this stuff here now? I said, no, ma'am, that is yours to buy lunch later. I'll take care of this. I'm not saying that to say talking about people or my business or what I'm out here trying to do. I'm just asking the people of this island today that when you see someone struggling at the register or the gas station to get something to eat and probably a personal item for themselves, and you know that you got 5 bottles of water, single bottle of water in your cart, put back to them and help that individual to get what they want to get at that present time. Sterling, we are all hurting. And when I see what I see sometimes, I can't help but just try to do what I can do and no more. Because I'm not here trying to look for no brown button or looking for no compliment from anyone out there. I am just saying to the people of this island, when you see somebody struggling, give them a helping hand. You'd be surprised to know what $1 can do. When the guys come now with a little drug thing and a little bear thing, now I'll say, can I buy you something out of the store or at the gas station? Oh, no, ma'am, I want the money in my hand. I said, well, you're not hungry. You are not hungry. So I don't give it to her. And when I saw what I saw Friday, Thursday, I went in as if I knew this woman. I didn't know her from Adam. And she couldn't get through thanking me. But the fact of the matter is, I'm just asking my people, we're all having problems financially. Let's try to help save some lives. If someone needs a little personal item and something to eat, let her get both of them. Give her the $2 that she needs out of $5. You cut back on your lunch and make sure that she eats. You cut back on some of your personal household stuff and make her get her little one item. Only one item she was trying to buy. Plus the two little things. I think it was some sort of pastry or something. I don't even know what was in the bags. But it wasn't no big sales, Sterling. Let's help our people. It hurts to the core.
Thankfully, we have people like you who are, willing to give so lovingly, so kindly, so willingly. And I think that's what is lost in our society. We no longer have people who are willing to reach out and help without an ulterior motive, without some sort of press release. And I think perhaps that's why some people are a bit reluctant to accept, because instead of them feeling that they've been the recipient of a genuine, loving offer, and they're made to feel as if they're big and behold. So thank you for that kindness, huh?
Yes, so you got to go now?
Yes, well, anything else you want to share with us? We can talk again later, though, hopefully.
Okay. I was up by the throat clinic, I think it was sometime last year, you know, my doctor, and it was a senior up there, too, and I know her face when I see her, and we said hi to each other and smile and so forth. And she went on up to the doctor, and then she came. When it was my turn to go in, then she was sitting at another section, and she was all cuddled up, and she said, "Oh, I'm so cold. I'm so cold." And I said, okay. I said, I have a shawl in my handbag. I always walk with one, Sterling. And I took the shawl out and gave it to her, make her wrap it around herself. And I don't know that one from Adam. I haven't seen her at the hospital in a good while, you know. I just hope that she's still around. But like I say, you know, when you see something, you try to help in some sort of capacity.
Right.
You know, or you could say, well, you know, I wish I could help you. But then again, if you know deep down inside you can help, why not help? The little thing that they're asking for, in as much as not even asking, but need a little helping hand in, is so small, Sterling. They're not asking you to pay no water bill and no mortgage and bring me a car to groceries and Foster's or wherever. You know what I mean?
Do because you can. And thank you very much, right? Okay. Caller, you know, epitomizes the love that we need to have, and kind of like, you know, Dennis and Janice over at Cellular World, you know, just like any customer, they recognize that if they can help, this is what we do. It's not because we're paid, not because we're rewarded, but we recognize that there's a need to be our brother's keeper. After the news, we invite you to join us. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio station. Radio Cayman is the voice of the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Ministry of Education will resume regular operations at 1:05 p.m. today after closing for a staff event earlier today at 11 a.m. In international news, Boeing boss Dave Calhoun will leave at the end of this year amid a deepening crisis over the firm's safety record. Boeing also said that the head of its commercial airlines division will retire immediately, while its chairman will not stand for re-election. The firm is under pressure after an unused door blew out of a Boeing 737 MAX in January, shortly after takeoff. No one was injured, but the firm's safety and quality control standards came under renewed scrutiny. A judge in New York has granted Donald Trump's request to pause his $464 million fraud judgment, giving him 10 days to put up a reduced sum of $175 million. The former president's legal team had previously said he was unable to secure a bond from a private company for the full amount. He had originally faced a deadline of Monday to put up the $464 million bond. If he had failed to do so, the authorities in New York could have started to seize his bank accounts and properties. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
HSA's Urgent Care Clinic is now open 7 days per week to serve you better. Visit our dedicated team at Urgent Care, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and weekends and public holidays, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. No appointment necessary. If you are experiencing non-life-threatening symptoms and conditions, such as the cold and flu, sprains and cuts, earaches, nausea and vomiting, visit Urgent Care's walk-in clinic at the main entrance of the Georgetown Hospital, now open every day. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Born in Watering Place, Cayman Brac, on the 8th day of July 1936, Captain Fred Elman Scott was the fifth child born to Nalio and Vera Scott. Captain Scott was a quiet-natured child who liked going on the bluff with his grandfather Oscar Brown, swimming every Saturday evening and playing cricket down where Miss Alame's house sits now. He was very studious at Creek Elementary School and did very well under the tutelage of his favorite teacher, Miss Isley Connolly, MBE. Following the tragic death of his father at sea, at age 14, he left school to work with Arnold Foster to support his family. In 1953, he joined his first ship, the Beretta, a local cargo vessel, signing on as deck boy, working his way up to bosun. From 1953 until 2006, some 52 years, Captain Scott made his living working off the seas.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks again for a number of things. To the good Lord for health and strength and life that we can live and sometimes laugh and love, both give and receive. And to our guests for coming in and sharing with us and their, not just the patience and tolerance, but a continued, inspiration and invitation to explore education. I think sometimes, though, we don't see what we have before us, and it's not so much that we take for granted, but it's perhaps because we look with blinders on. Well, no more, right? So thanks again for sharing with us. Now, if I might, as we talk about our topic, I want to ask for us, as we look sometimes with what is literally next door or just down the street, we hear people say, oh, back in my day, I had to go to school, barefoot in the snow, uphill, backwards, both ways. Being in the Caribbean, I'm thinking, I never saw snow like that before, but maybe it was, a blistering, torrential downpour. Maybe it was something else, but Shirley Johnson, or Mrs. Johnson, Shirley, I always get it wrong. How are you?
I'm great.
I think I would be supported in sharing that you do look and sound exactly the same. Before we get into it, nursing, healthcare, and that level of attention and respect and compassion is almost synonymous with nurses. It isn't just a story that have been told of Florence Nightingale. It isn't just the wounded on the battlefields. Sometimes that ill, frail, loved one that you just see her laying there, and all her years of toil, she's just there. That person is just there in that loving. It's something about that reminds us of being compassionate.
Yes. That is what nursing is about, being compassionate.
Mm-hmm.
Being the largest group of healthcare workers, and also that we are the one that have that constant contact, communication with clients, patients, then you realize that you need that.
Yeah.
You need that caring, that gentleness, that compassion, because sometimes it's not all about the remedies.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes the touch, the soft voice, the calmness of that person that will bring about some healing as well.
A sense of empathy, almost. So to that, Ms. Karen Jones, thanks again for coming on. Is it then that there's some people that have a calling in their life? There are some people that are just almost epitomize that thing. I look at, as an example, I love food. I love being in the kitchen. And I look at Chef Emeril Lagasse. To me, he is always a chef. I'm not sure that Gordon Ramsay is, but that's a different story. But we all have a different persona and an approach. You would easily, no matter where you would be, people pick you up and say, yep, she's called and she's heard her calling.
Thanks for having us. And good afternoon to our listening audience.
Mm-hmm.
Caring is really an attribute that should be universal. It shouldn't be something that is just associated with one profession.
Mm-hmm.
But in our world today, as you said, there are persons with different personalities and with different talents that you will find more of a leaning towards caring and on a wider scale, on a broad scale. So nursing is a profession that it's just like being in the army. Everybody should enlist.
I like that.
Everybody should enlist and become a nurse, but we know how it goes.
Yeah.
You know, everybody has their different career that they want to be a part of.
With that, though, I think thanks so much for sharing that, because as I was thinking about a discussion, I believe that knowledge is not only empowering, engaging, and equalizing, but it's essential, for our life. So, with that, as the director of the School of Nursing, and in our society, we have a government and successive governments trying to figure out how best to expend public funds to get the best sort of investment in its people. Our facility caters to the population, but also potentially can attract others from the region or across the globe. And as Ms. Karen shared, nursing, there's compassion, there's empathy, there's a sense of caring, but there's a knowledge and a skill set that you can, as a parent, just stab the little needle that's been skinned, but as a professional. So help us to appreciate this particular program and how we, as an individual, but as a society, benefit from it.
All right, so I am really happy to say that we are closing off our 10th anniversary. So that means we're in existence for 10 years. And we've had 10 good years where we've graduated 50 students thus far. And we have a very good pass rate at the regional exam.
Mm-hmm.
I am happy because when I visited the HSA this morning, I could see our graduates. They're the ones that are senior nurses, they're charge nurses, and they're also supervisors. So they're nursing supervisors. And this is just to say that our first grad was in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing pretty well. And knowing that you can train your own to look after your own, knowing they understand the culture, they understand the people. So the program, some persons have a concern that we are a small school, but Cayman Islands is a small, relatively small population. And I believe that what makes us different in that we can cater to our students. I usually say that we not just focus on the academics, but we look at the well-being overall. So the emotional, the physical, and we are able to give them a lot more attention and time, and we try to work with them wherever they are at and bring them. So I always say, we don't lower our standards. You must come up to our standards. So we work with getting our students to the professional level.
Right.
The program is significant because nursing shortage is there. It's global. And if we can train 50 nurses in 10 years, it's significant to the Cayman Islands.
Mm-hmm. And this is where, as I look at the program and on a frequent basis every week on a campus at UCCI, for different reasons. And it's almost, I believe, if you go into a library, you'll come out smarter. Something about knowledge. Right? So hopefully that's true.
Oh.
But I still share that, in this 10 years, despite being a relatively small place physically from the geography, but also from the population, we've seen significant investment, both money from governments and partners, but also individuals who contribute to training. If I might then ask, as we ask about the program and how long it is and how did we get into it, if I might first ask, over that 10 years, we've had people who were here, benefit from the program, people who've come from other jurisdictions, and we see them at HSA, we see them at other facilities, but for the program, they may not have had the access and the opportunity. So with that, do we know how our graduates have fared, how many have come, how many have stayed, how many are still here after they completed the program? Have you been able to track that thus far?
Yes. So most of our graduates are employed to the HSA, the Health Services Authority. Majority of them have remained, and majority are still in the Cayman Islands. So it may be public, but they're also in private at Doctors Hospital, Health City, Cayman Islands, and there are a few in the private sector in terms of the medical centers or the clinics.
Right. And I appreciate sharing that, because I want people to recognize that many times, maybe it's a regional thing, we expect and accept things from outside. The imported car, the imported fruit that, tastes better because it was brought in by plane as opposed to picked in the backyard. Just something about it. But here we have a facility, and it's not just the government facility, but the other private facilities have taken on board. And the global shortage of nursing wasn't something that was, talked about 10 years ago. We saw it coming. So, Ms. Karen, from that perspective, the applicants, what are you looking for in applicants? How long is the program? How do they get accepted? What do they need to do to apply?
Okay. All right, thanks for that question. The program is 4 years. As per other bachelors of science programs. So at the end of 4 years, you receive a bachelor's of science degree, and you sit the regional exam for nursing licensure, which is for short RENR, and that is done within the Caribbean context. So we are part of about 13 other countries who do the RENR. For matriculation, you're required, at this time, you're required 5 subjects. 3 are mandatory, which are math, biology, and English language. Those are the 3 that are compulsory. And then you're required to have 2 other, which could be a language, a subject in the business area. We may have 1 or 2 that we don't accept from business, right?
Yes.
Yes, right. But we accept like accounting and so on. Also, you can have others from the arts, like, social sciences, like social studies and so on. Because nursing it's built on a number of sciences. So it's built on social science, it's built on environmental science, it's built on a lot of sciences. So we do, for those 2 subjects, there are quite a number of other subjects outside of math, English, and biology that we will accept. So persons just need to call in and ask. Now, in terms of the passes, though, we only accept, at CXC level, we only accept 2 3s. All the other passes have to be 1s and 2s. So that's the requirement. And aside from that, come with the willingness to learn and to and as you said, to care for others.
So it's a 4-year program. It's a master's program,
Yes.
and while you're doing it, that's full time.
It is full time. Yes, it is full time.
And for those who may either not be familiar with the program, school is during the week. You come to classes, you do your school work. I mean, what is it? Is it just like a normal sort of school? Is it different? Is there a work component? How is it?
Okay. So we have 2 aspects to the program. We have a theory aspect. So we have the class component, and then we have the practice component to it. Because, hands-on, you need to get those motor skills in. You need to be able to build your confidence to care for others. So practice comes into play. So part of the semester, we have classes, and the rest of the semester we have practicums. The semester tends to be between 14 to 15 weeks, except for summer. So we have 3 semesters each year. So we have fall semester, which goes from August to December. Then we have the spring semester, which goes from January to April. Yes, and then we have the summer semester that goes up from May to the end of June. So it's really a full-time study. So you're in class from, say, the earliest you're in class is 8:30 a.m. and the latest that you may be there is 4 p.m. We may have a few classes later on in the evening. So you really have to be dedicated to this program in order to be successful at it.
But that's how we learn, right? We can make the commitment, and as I'm listening to you, I can see it's not only for that individual who maybe, out of other university wants to get into nursing or other high school, but even potentially that young person working now who's saying, I'm not happy in accounting, for instance, or I'm not happy working in wherever he is, because men can be nurses too, right?
Yes.
And it should be.
Yes.
What do you say though to that, where the program is is one that is demanding in a sense. Nothing good comes easy, my mother says. How do we get us to that space where we're not going to lower the standards and reward mediocrity? We want to raise the bar and have a standard of excellence. What do you ask of your applicants when they come in? What do you want them to bring to the table?
One of the things we want them to take to the table, is an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
The program, I think, the understanding of what nursing was or is sometimes not fully understood by our applicants. So when they come in, they realize that it's a bigger challenge than what you would think. Mm-hmm. So it's no longer the nurse who just does basic skills. You now have to match the science to the skills. You have to know why and how. You have to understand the whole operations of the body. And so it can be daunting and challenging. But as I said, we've graduated 50 students. So that means it's doable, right? And we still have more students going through the system. Having an open mind will allow you to face the challenges. Mm-hmm. And we say work with us because we really do give our students a lot. We try to ensure that if they need counseling, we do the recommendation, the referral. We try to work with their family situation. We extend kindness, we extend empathy, compassion, given the different situations that they will face. And we also work with them financially in terms of ensuring that they apply for their scholarship, they get financial aid either from the UCCI itself or private sponsors. Right. So we know it's challenging, but it's doable.
For that individual, before financial aid, scholarship, sponsorship, government has been phenomenal with its continued investment. What's the cost for the program, either for the 4 years or even by semester, so that we get to understand that it's not exorbitant, it's not something that is impossible? The 4-year program as today's cost.
All right, per semester, it will vary because the first year is a little less expensive. The nursing courses are more expensive because it has a practical part to it. So for a semester in the first year, you can run about 2.5 per semester. When it gets into the second to fourth year where you're doing basically nursing courses, you may be looking at 3,500, 4,000. The UCCI does work with you with a payment plan. So over time, it can roughly cost you about close to 36,000.
Just basic math, average it out. If it's 4 years, 12,000 a year, 1,000 a month, thereabouts, right? How much per day? Just kidding. and that is for some a large sum of money, but look at the reward you're getting and look at the opportunity that's been afforded. And I share that to say that for some of us, that's not even down payment on a property. That's not even the cost of the car that we just purchased, but look at the investment in our education for a lifetime. And then the rewards here and
that
globally.
Will get you the house and the car.
It will.
Forget about the car. Get the house. Get the land.
Yes, as you said, globally, we always tell our students that they're being trained for the world.
Yeah.
So the globe is open to them because nursing is universal. We speak the same language no matter where we go. Right. So therefore, if you want experience outside of Cayman, the world is open to you. The world is your oyster. Yeah. And rewards come along with that. Presently in England, I think they're legislating to have nurses salary. They're legislating about salary and so on. And even in the U.S., there's talk that nurses ought to be paid for the work they do. So there's lots of talk. I think the future is bright for nurses. So persons who are interested in that field.
If I might ask,
take the plunge.
I reached out to a few of my friends who still in the profession, and I through them I want to perhaps ask you. They've come in. That's what they wanted to be, and they're there. But over time, they see so many different avenues of specialization. Over time, I want to know some. You can become a nurse practitioner. What is that? And she tells me you can specialize in particular areas, just like other specialties. And I go, wow. And I don't think we understand it. But first, you got to qualify and get experience as a nurse,
Right.
So you want to get pediatrics, or you want to get into,
Yes.
the
Gerontology, oncology,
Yes.
neonatology,
Yeah.
cardiology,
And the one-
anesthesiology. We match the specialties that the medical field has.
What I gathered was that if there's a special one that works in the operating theater, the nurses.
Operating room nurse.
Yeah, those.
Or you have two.
Okay,
you have
see.
the operating room nurse and you
And
have the nurse anesthetist.
Yeah. Okay, that's the one. Thank you. I was going. And is it anesthetist or anesthesiologist? It's the same, right?
It's the same.
Okay.
It's the same.
And the way I say that is that you have the skill sets, but if you're there versus in some of the other areas, no 2 days are alike, and the amount of reward that you get, not necessarily frustration, it's problem solving, but you get to see. I thought this has to be one of the most exhilarating and fulfilling careers that can be. Now, I'm not trying to exaggerate, but for some reason, and this is what she'd asked me to ask, for some reason it's presented in a way that doesn't appeal to many of us. There is the academic component. I mean, you're asking to give medicines to a patient. You're asking to look at a patient and life and death. But so too are lawyers, right? Nobody's asking my friends who are lawyers be like, really? But with that in mind, as we wrap up our discussion, and how do we apply? When do we apply? When does it start again?
We start in fall. Classes start in fall, but right now we're in the process of accepting applications until June. So once they have their subjects, the requirements, they apply online to UCCI at admissions, and from there they will process them, do the admission part, then it's sent to the nursing department where we review, and then we send out for an interview date.
Okay. Is it a minimum age to apply? 17. And for that individual who may have always felt this yearning, believe he or she has the academic aptitude, but is now 40 or 50, is it that's okay?
Yes.
So there's hope for me. Okay.
Once you're over 17.
Over 17.
Yes. We say 17 to whenever.
Yeah.
Even if you're 85 and you think you want to do nursing.
Yeah.
To say that for our upcoming, next week. Yes, so we have 2 ceremonies going on next week. We have the renaming, which is Ruth Eleanor McLaughlin, but on the 5th, we have our nursing and midwifery, the first ever research symposium, and I think that's a good place to come and see the School of Nursing on show. All our students and faculty will be there. We'll be having international presenters, and our local presenters will be there. So I think that's a good way to come see what we have, how we operate, and it's not just about the academics. We want our students to be rounded, to be well developed, so that they can make presentations, they can do a speech, they know how to do different activities, organize, help with the conference that we're having. So come on the 5th. It's by registration. If you go online, should be open or may not be open. But it's a good time to pass through and see us in action, yes.
Next Friday, right?
Yes, next Friday. On the 4th is the renaming.
On the 4th, the Thursday is the renaming.
Yes.
That's at the hall as well?
Yes.
At Sir Vassal Johnson Hall.
Time? Is it?
The renaming is at 6.
6, yeah.
Right, and the name that we will use therefore forward is Ruth Eleanor McLaughlin.
Yeah, and she's a phenomenal lady. And there's so many, even as we call the nurses centers across the district health. If you look at the names of the people, you recognize some of your family. You recognize people who have made not only an indelible impression, but they're very recognizable over the decades. And that's the contribution that I think nurses make. We still tell stories in primary school about, Florence Nightingale, as embellished as it may be. But, what about Miss Pat? What about other people who right now today still part of our community?
Right. Yes. So speaking about our symposium, that represents another specialty in nursing research. We are talking about evidence-based practice today. And so as nurses, we do participate in evidence-based practice. So as we are not just clinicians, but we are scientists too. Yes, so we get involved in research. So this is what the symposium will highlight. The ability of nurses to do research and to contribute to the quality care of patients. And yes, and just want to say that nurses can be lawyers too. You can have a nurse lawyer.
Exactly. and recognizing, and the exciting part as I listen to you is that if we ever go, whether it's to the hospital or private, health practice, the nurse, you can see the physician, as competent as she is, she's relying on the nurse for many, many things, who is doing everything at one time, from getting the triage to making sure that the titration, if there's a particular administered drug, to just calming the patient. This needle isn't, whether that's a big strapping young man or a toddler, just that sense of comfort. It's an amazing skill set that I don't believe we appreciate and only recognize in the absence. So nurses everyone should be a nurse. I like that. A nurse and an economist. All right. Any closing thoughts and a reminder that you may want to share with us? And thanks again. I really want to say I know all of us love and admire and respect our medical profession, but in particular our nurses, because what you do, we understand it, but we don't maybe always say thanks.
Yes. Before we go, I would just want to acknowledge our sponsors for the symposium. That's Health City Cayman Islands, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Brit K, the Health Services Authority, Doctors Hospital, and I hope I'm not forgetting. I think that's it. We have some other sponsors which we'll highlight at the symposium.
Thanks.
Yes, and I just want to add something else in regards to our nursing program. We spoke that, it's a rigorous daytime program, full-time program, but if there are persons who are working and they would like to work and study, they still can come in and talk with us so that we can tell them how they may go about doing such.
If it's a passion that you want to pursue, the first step gets you there.
Yes.
And thanks very much. I know it's you, I think, share with me. There's some people who epitomize their profession, and it's so good to know that we have them in our midst. All the best for the symposium, but also I think a very, very deserved recognition to Ms. McLaughlin.
Yes.
She served her community well, and maybe as an example to many of us to be able to look to and to see her own.
She is, because she was actually one of the first person to start the nursing education local training here. So
to see the importance of it, but also recognizing how it must be across the street. And I think that's something that we've missed. As much as it's important to us to travel, whether to study or to be seconded to another office to get that experience, it's good to be able to know that you're out your gate and down the lane and across the street, and there's your space. And we have it here. That's a song, right?
Yes.
But thanks again.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Wow, we got something to share with you when we return as we invite you to be a part of the discussion. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I go in flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
In life, the more you have to lose.
The more you love, the more you worry.
The more people rely on you, the more you have on your mind.
I have peace of mind,
knowing that whoever I care about
is protected by the very best.
With Sagicor Life of the Cayman Islands, you'll have critical illness coverage and life insurance to help you protect what matters most. Call 949-8211 for more information.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Dwayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Hey Cayman, this is Ilian Powery, your Miss Universe Cayman Islands 2023. Do you want the opportunity to help shape the future of youth and sports in the Cayman Islands? All you have to do is complete the National Youth and Sports Survey found at gov.ky/YSP. This is your chance to make a lasting impact on our community. Have your say today, Cayman, at gov.ky/YSP.
This announcement is brought to you by the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Heritage.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks to good friends over at UCCI, in particular the School of Nursing, as we now have some open line to take us to the top of the hour. And as the invitation has been extended, if you're considering a career, I've always believed, and I will certainly be very, very grateful if you would guide and show that I am correct. It is not that I desire to be right, I just don't want to be wrong. It's a difference in my mind. And I think, as I say that in any society, but in particular this one, the pillars are very simple. They are robust, healthy education system and equally healthcare system. So as we educate students to be critical thinkers, as we educate people to be educators, we also encourage them, as we are now on behalf of the applications to the School of Nursing over UCCI, ask our people to consider, being a nurse. And the little that I understand as I listen to my friends who are in that sector, it is truly a very fulfilling and rewarding career. Not unlike teachers and the like, it may not, to some people, pay the amount that is so deserved, but nonetheless, your reward is great. It is open line, and let's take this call. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon to you, Sterling Green. Good afternoon.
And to you, sir. How are you today?
Listening, you're just fine, thank you. Listening to your talk with the nurses, they're wonderful people.
Oh, yes.
That's a thankless profession. I mean, but more people are waking up to the importance of being thankful and grateful to them.
Yes, sir.
I'm happy to see that and happy to hear about it. And nothing could be more important than that nursing school and so forth, to have our own training, our own people. And so important. Remember, nurse, Ruth McLaughlin. She doesn't call matron. You might be too young to remember that, but that's what we knew her as. Matron.
Yes,
Nobody
yes.
ever said nurse.
Yeah.
I remember that. They said matron.
Yeah.
And that's what they called her, early 70s, late 60s.
That's the name I've heard her referred to as, yeah.
Matron, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, to hear that, I just want to say also, before I just get to what I really
Yes,
thought
sir.
about. Happy birthday to Miss Suzanne here, and I think it's her birthday today, isn't it?
You mean the Radio Cayman Susan?
Yeah.
Okay,
no, yeah.
it is her birthday, so you want me to sing happy birthday to her? Come on now, we can do it.
No.
Come on.
No, I won't bother to do that. But a lot of people ask
Yes,
me
sir.
to sing for them, but I could sing one time. Yep. And but yes, it's also she's one of my favorites, of course. She and Sanita, and of course you yourself, Mr. O.C.
Thank you.
Favorite people. There are lots of people here, great people here, so we can't call them all.
No.
Think of that. She and Miss Anita as women there, and Paulette and everyone. My sister Emily also, it's her birthday.
Okay.
94 years old today.
Wow.
She's the eldest of us, and I just had a long talk with her. She's been living in Canada now for quite a long time, almost 60 years. And another thing is she's the first, and she's the oldest Caymanian-born artist. She actually started painting before our cousin Lassie. Everybody knows Miss Lassie. My sister Emily started painting 1955, I think it was, yes. And I remember it's her 25th birthday. I remember very well. I sang to her. I called her early on. I was a young boy, but I remember. Very, very well. And yes, she started painting before cousin Lassie. And she had sent one of her paintings and brought it over for the museum, but at last it was, I think, badly damaged in Hurricane Ivan. Brought it over from Canada for them as a gift to the museum. But she remembers a lot of things about the whole Cayman, so forth. We talked about that. Because many times when I say to her, I met so-and-so, talk to so-and-so, and that little person who would remember my father, he have to be in your weight, 80s and so forth, 90s. And she'd say to me, "You from Cayman or Cayman Brack?" And I said, that's the way all whole Caymanians would say it. They call Grand Cayman, Cayman, Cayman Brack, Cayman Brack. Never forgotten that. And I said, no, he's actually from Cayman Brack. Even though it was an Ebanks. I had a long talk to him, very, very, very important talk years ago. What I wanted to say quickly was, I listened to your talk with that lady who wrote that article. Compass. Immediately, I think it was in the Compass. It could have been in the Caymanian Times. I don't remember.
No, she wrote she did a report, and then it was reported in the local media. But her report...
A report for whom? A report is usually contracted by someone or some government or some person or something.
Yeah,
I didn't read it as a report. I read it as an article given as a sort of speech or whatever.
Right. So there was a media reported, one of the local papers, one of their journalists, must have read it and did a piece on it. And she did a report. Now we did ask her, why did she, do that? Who commissioned it? Who paid for it?
I didn't hear that part.
I know.
Asked her that.
Yeah, and her response was, well, as an academic, but in particular as an economist, and it may be, just like I guess songwriters or poets, put pen to paper, or prepare a little piece of artistic creation.
We call it a report. Usually,
right?
It's just an article or something like that.
Right. So
I read it, and it was immediately I thought the same thing. I thought of the minister when he was on the radio before, some days before Honorable Kenneth Bryan
Right.
about it, and he should have, and I'm glad he came on and spoke about it because it was very derogatory about the tourism industry, which is of vital importance to Caymanians.
Right.
I know that someone wrote a letter after that, and I don't know. I can't give her any merit. As I heard you talking to her, she seemed to have been trying to explain her words and her phrases and the things that she said in it. And I think she came on because the minister had come on.
No. If I might, we were cognizant that she was completing this report. We had reached out because we did have her on in the past, and there have been a number of times that she made presentations, even to the Tourism Association and the Tourism Department in the past. She's very, very noted within the Caribbean, so we had reached out.
I know, we hear that all the while,
right,
and I saw many of the things.
But what I wanted
heard her name mentioned about that.
But what I wanted to share with you is that we had her scheduled for very, very early in the year. And unfortunately, intervenous circumstances caused her parents to be delayed. But if I might ask you, you said you found it to be derogatory.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, can I ask you to? Yeah, because I did read it myself, right? And I came from a different perspective, but I want to hear why you've concluded that.
You
sir.
Tend to be very, you put it simply nice to your guests there sometimes, and you don't want to disagree with them or hurt their feelings or whatever you want to call it. But I don't choose to be that way.
Okay.
Let's speak our minds. I'm too old now to try to talk soap things.
But what was derogatory about
my
it?
My cousin Anthony always said, pussyfoot around the what you got to say.
Right. But what did you find derogatory about it?
Yes, what she said, that it was a negative thing, more or less. That's she tried to portray. It shows really a lack of knowledge of our people and our history.
So let me ask, right, because you've
70 years or more.
Right. You've been in the tourism sector a long time, right?
Rent a car days in the early 70s and
so forth. So help me to help me to understand it, because when I read it, I would be grateful to you because you helping me to get a better informed.
Me too.
Right.
Look at a different perspective, which I'm not going to do.
No. I'm certainly not interested in changing your perspective. I'm interested in making sure that I am as informed as possible. And you would, as everybody would know, have the view that I believe the study of economics is essential and should be a core subject in schools, because there is the qualitative as well as the quantitative aspect. So when I read her report, a number of things resonated with me, and I want to ask you one thing as I share a second. From your perspective, right, is the tourism, the money that people in the tourism sector, let's say the charter boat operators, for instance, or the taxi operators, do you think that today they're earning more or less than they did 50 years ago, 40 years ago?
They should be earning more. We know some of the reasons for that.
But it should be, but are they?
He did mention about the politics and all that, got involved, which I don't think she had any right to be.
No, but she didn't, she didn't. Her comments.
What I read.
No, that's what I'm saying, right? I read the report, and I asked her a question similar to that because others have asked a question. I did read the newspaper report, and I read, the actual report or the newspaper account. And I wonder sometimes if we get what we get because it's their perspective, right? And the reason I asked you the question is that you said they should be earning more today than they did 30 or 40 years ago. But do you know whether they are earning more today?
Sometimes I think they are not. When I speak to many of them over the years, the last 20 years and more particularly, no, but there are reasons for that, of course. We've got to understand, in the last 40 years, we have imported, we've got 160 maybe nationalities from other countries here in Cayman. And I once heard you say you think that's a good thing or a great thing. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
That can't work in a country this small. We're about 58,000 acres or somewhere around here.
And it's the ranch, huh? Not even big enough.
Yes, and most of them are in Grand Cayman. Let's just put Grand Cayman at about that size.
Mm-hmm.
And it's impossible not to have serious problems coming out of that mix. I don't care what anyone wants to say. I really don't care. I've thought about that years, and met some very nice people, and very nice, and they're here to try to improve their standard of living by far. That's the main reason why they're here.
So are you of the view then that we should reduce our population? Is that what I'm hearing you? I want to make sure.
No, I'm not of the view of that. The point is this. We have to look at things from a different perspective. And we have to sort of say, this is our people's right to have certain privileges that others cannot have.
Okay.
That's my way of looking at things.
Like what sort of
There
things?
has to be a separation when we see generational Caymanians, that we give a preference to them the same way that the U.S. government and other governments are trying to do now with like the Red Indians, the Sioux tribe, Cherokees, and
Right.
and on all those things. We know that they have special privileges.
So what should
no
those
other United States citizens have?
Right. For Cayman
For a
then?
long time.
Right. What would you say those?
Caymanians, black or white, should have.
Doesn't matter about color. What should those special privileges be for generational Caymanians?
Something similar to like affirmative action, what the U.S. does with minorities and so forth, where a person, even though as long as it's a government job or government or a company contracted to do government work, where minorities must be employed. And I can cite you many instances when I worked here.
Right.
Done work in the United States, because a lot of what you hear, see on CNN and all that, sort of left wing and I make no bones about that.
Right.
That's it's not what it seems at all in reality. They are given special privileges to get certain jobs, and those who have, you have companies in the United States whose 90% of their economy comes from government contracts.
Right. So let's if I might ask you.
Same thing here.
Yeah.
The same thing here.
Right. Let's speak to the Cayman context, as you were sharing that there are 160 plus nationalities, but you do not, you're not saying that we should reduce our population. But if we have all those nationalities, it's not a good thing. Then what do we do about it? Are we
can reduce the dependency to have those 160 nationalities? We know the ways we can do that.
How? Tell me how.
We can have laws to prevent it. Our elected representatives can make laws that would limit that, and the same thing with like importation of vehicles, which is a very, very serious problem now.
But is it the vehicles or the drivers?
Not the drivers, the vehicles. We need to stop importing, allowing everyone who wants to.
But if the driving habits of the people, I mean, the vehicles don't drive themselves. I certainly would.
Come on, we have too many vehicles for the roads. Sterling Green, we can't keep building roads to accommodate vehicles. We can limit imports. Every country has limitations except for us.
Okay.
We can read them, we should be, but it must be done by our elected representatives, and it does require the courage to do
the political will, you say, right?
Political will.
Yes, sir.
Do so, but we can straighten the system out. But as I said, the importance of can never be overestimated of the tourism aspect. We've got to understand that there are two Caymans. The Cayman for the wealthy and the high-earning people in the financial world.
Right.
And there's the Cayman for the ordinary people.
Right. Mr. McCall, I want to take the other caller, but I like in respect.
Yes, I'm going to end my dissertation or whatever.
Not at all.
Call it.
Yes, sir. Yes.
But we have to understand that the majority of Caymanians work within that. If you look at I think it's over 76% that my cousin is to me. Adam said a couple of years ago, or less than that, that over 76% of the people along the West Bay Peninsula there, which is the beach, 7 Mile Beach we call it. It's only like 4.5 miles really, but we that are working in the tourism are not Caymanians, 76%.
Are not Caymanian.
Non-Caymanian. Yes, we know we have a small.
So you're kind of making her argument as to what she was questioning about.
We all understand that, but the point I'm making is they do that 20% working in it. Otherwise, and there are the tour operators and so forth, and the persons who work in those stores and stuff, and other things, events and activities. We know they're heavily dependent on tourism, on that tourism dollar. The big boys are dependent on the money passing through here, and they make huge sums of money. That's not money that's staying really here. It's used to invest on big bill hotels and condominiums and all that, and we know all that. So that's another topic.
Yes, sir.
But we know that, and that's what much of it is being. So you have some definite base here to say that money is being used to do something. But in the main, it's money passing through, and we know it's a huge amount of money passing through. The government gets very, very little in taxation. Nobody needs to refute what I just said out of it because of the wrong system of taxation we have here. But
yes, sir.
That's for another story.
Yeah, but thank you so much, Mr. McAllick. His contribution with great respect. We had a break to take. We can take all we can as I try to listen to the people on the other side of the table. Join us after the break.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymanational.com today.
It's Digicel's 20th birthday bash, and you're invited. We are giving away 20 phones for 20 years. Win an iPhone or a Samsung smartphone as part of our anniversary celebration. Simply spend $20 or more at Digicel or be an active postpaid customer, and you could be our lucky winner. It's our way of saying thank you for 20 incredible years of connection and support from our amazing customers like you. Don't miss out on this epic celebration. Go to your nearest Digicel store today and join the party. Digicel, better connected.
Has the circus come to town? No. It's A.L. Thompson's 2-week blowout sale from March 15 through March 30. Get under the huge tent outside A.L. Thompson's to save big. Save up to 75% on lighting, electrical, plumbing, paint, and hardware. Save up to 75% on housewares, building materials, and the ever-popular scratch and dent appliances. Take advantage of this savings while they last. It's March blowout under the tent at A.L. Thompson's, Georgetown.
Every day, thousands of us use our roads.
I drive to work.
My dad drives me to school.
I make deliveries across the island.
But with every journey comes responsibility. Our actions behind the wheel can have serious consequences, so let's make a commitment to safety. The Cayman Islands government invites you to take the Safe Drivers Pledge. The pledge is our opportunity to show our dedication to creating a safer environment on our roads.
Do it for your community.
For your loved ones.
For yourself.
Let's make our roads safer together and say no more for 2024. Visit www.gov.ky/road safety for more information and to take the pledge.
Covering Little Cayman, Cayman Bride.
Cover me.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins. 15-year-old Chantel Roden Aguilar was reported missing on Friday, March 15th. She was last seen at her home address in Georgetown and remains outstanding. She is of brown complexion and slim build with dark brown hair and wears glasses. She was last seen wearing a gray shirt and black leggings. Members of the public are encouraged not to harbor Chantel and other missing teens, but instead to call 911 if she is seen. In international news, Russia has charged 4 men it says attacked a Moscow concert hall and killed at least 137 people. All 4 appear to have been beaten, and one was brought to court in a wheelchair. They were charged with committing an act of terrorism. The Islamic State group, or IS, said it carried out Friday's outrage at Crocus City Hall and posted video evidence. Russian officials have claimed, without evidence, Ukrainian involvement. Kiev says the claim is absurd. Canada's maple syrup reserve, the world's only, has reached a 16-year low, raising questions about the future of a globally loved sweet staple in the face of climate change. The reserve, located in Quebec, is designed to hold 133 million pounds of maple syrup at any given year. But in 2023, the supply fell to 6.9 million pounds. Experts link the shortage to both a rise in demand and warmer weather, which has disrupted production. But they say that this will not affect the availability or price of maple syrup to consumers, at least for now. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. And as we get into our next scheduled discussion with Mr. Harold McCoy, respectfully, sir, we're told we had a quick caller just before the break who wanted to comment. So, with great respect to the caller, let's just take it quickly. Welcome, thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you today?
Oh, wonderful. I was saying it apparently I was right. What the question that I was asking of Miss Dukaran
on Friday.
Yeah, on Friday. She's not here, so I guess can't say too much. But attracting high net worth individuals to Cayman, particularly, or for example, singers and certain types of people. If it would strengthen the economy, etc. And that was the question, right? And I believe she said yes.
Yeah, but it was a good question, and she answered it, and you were right. So, you know what I mean? You were right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, but that if we can look into these types of situations in the future, would only I think it would only be good for Cayman.
Yeah.
Like you said, as she said, strengthening the economy. That's something good. So
Indeed, man.
Yeah.
Well, as you said, I mean, good follows good. So as we attract that type of clientele and create an environment, we need to ensure that we are providing a safe place that all of us can live. Hey, thank you for holding on, for sharing that thought, all right?
Okay.
All right, most respectful and appreciative. Well, to you too, Mr. Harville McCoy, for letting us take that call, and as you join us today to share. I know you, fellow members of the congregation were on the other day, so I'm excited to hear more as you share with us.
Well, yeah, good afternoon, Dwayne, and good afternoon to all the listening public. Yeah, this is regarding the Webster Memorial United Church in Bordentown, which we're celebrating the 170th anniversary of the founding of the congregation in Bordentown by Reverend Emsley back in 1846, I think it was.
So just to dispel it, you weren't there then, right? I just want to make sure, because that's what Norma told me. I just want to make sure. That's not true? Is it true?
Yeah, look, I'm getting there, but I'm not that there yet.
Now, this was the first congregation for the United Church in Cayman?
Right.
But yet the one in town has his name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The edifice in town has his name, yeah. But the first congregation was actually established in Bordentown. And after some, a lot of work, because apparently a few other denominations had come before, the Anglicans, the Baptists, I know of, and they just gave up because they were going against a tough crew, a tough set of people. But thank God, Reverend Emsley, he persevered. I think he had, must have had a special personality and drive, because I don't know if you read the book that my father did regarding the history of the church, the Presbyterian church, because it started as Presbyterian church in Cayman. And when Reverend Emsley, he said something to the effect that, these are the most ungodly set of people that he'd ever, encountered. They just didn't want to hear nothing about religion.
Which is interesting, right? Because we're told in part of our history that one of the requests from the early was for a minister.
Well, that was one of the persons, I guess he saw the need for, some kind of religious.
So was that a request from the people, the populace, or from?
I'm not. I think how it happened is that that was I think it was James Jarrett Wood was the person, but how it really started was one of the ministers from Jamaica got shipwrecked off East End. And he came ashore, and then that's when he realized that they weren't, any established kind of.
So that request came through one of them.
So I think that's when Mr. Jarrett Wood then requested that, we need a minister or, some church presence here.
Right.
And then when he got back to Jamaica, then that's when they put out the request for somebody to come to Cayman, and there was nobody really took it on, but Emsley, famous words that I will go, So
here I am, Lord, send me.
Yeah. So. So basically that's it, and it was in May of 1846. So the month of May we have designated as the month that we will commemorate this, and we have various activities that have been planned and are in process of being planned throughout the month. I think we start off on the first Saturday with a prayer breakfast, and then we'll have an opening service, and then we'll have other activities including a historical display, of pictures, memories, whatever. That will be during the last week of and we're also planning like a beach day. Well, because we didn't have our normal garden party, quote unquote, this year. which has basically now been reduced to more or less like a food sale, a dinner sale, because of it's just times have changed so much since, that it's so much other things happening, because previously it used to be on New Year's Day.
Mm-hmm.
The older folks will remember that Town Garden Party that was on everybody's calendar. It had to be there, Town, because it was not only the food, but it was like a social event, and so it went all day, and then in the evening they normally had a concert or something, so people made a day of it. But that was back in the days when there was nothing else going on, so it wasn't. So people would make an effort or would make sure that they come. But nowadays, there's so much things happening on New Year's Day, and with the change of lifestyle, people not getting home till the time that the garden party would normally start. So when people get home, they're not too anxious to get back out to come again.
Mm.
So we found that we don't have the kind of support, basically like how we used to have. It's just basically the church members and maybe the community members, and it's getting difficult too to get enough people to work, because the congregation is an Asian congregation.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people who do most of the work are senior citizens, or people approaching that. So, we have, it's funny, we have a good youth group, but when it comes time for the younger folks to get involved with, other things in the church, they kind of shy away. So it's left then basically to the older folks, and people can only do so much.
And as we're speaking to, Mr. Harold McCoy, Jr.
Yeah.
For those of us who don't know, because your father, your mother, but entire family, but he was loved and revered. I can still see, I guess people a little bit older than you and I are speaking so fondly. I not only hear their voice, I can see the animated tone almost, right? And I set up to share that you recall in some of the history. And as you talk about the UFC, Memorial United Church, that church history speaks to the country's history and just the garden party. I want to ask this and then share something consciously, right? Can you, in your mind, remember when it looked like it started to change, the attendance started to dwindle, their participation, all the things. We're in a different time in Cayman now. And you said nowadays and back then. But for some people, they may be thinking we're thinking 100 years ago. In your mind, is it 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago?
Let me think. No, I would say from in the 90s, late 80s, 90s.
Even early 2000s, maybe?
Yeah, coming forward, And, the garden party, I was told, started in 1900. And except for a few occasions, few years, I think even during the war years.
Yeah.
It still went on. But there were a few years I know in my memory that we didn't have it. But basically, from 1900 until, here recently, when I say recently, very recently, in 2019, because 2020 that was a watershed year. Everything changed after that. But it was basically an annual thing. But I would say, after from the late 80s, 90s coming up, we could see
changing tides.
The changing, yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely within the last 4 years.
Definitely.
After the COVID, especially.
Yeah. I'll share with you during the break what I was thinking. We're gonna take the break, but as you said, watershed year, the seminal point in our lives, the significant changes that have taken place globally, but even personally, regionally, but certainly locally, within societies, all because of that thing that we will probably never fully understand until some decades down the road.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. All right, when we come back, you want to share us more about the...
a couple of other things.
Yeah, man, thanks. Please stay tuned and join us. We listen sometimes, we might learn. Join us after.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
The Rotary Central Spring Storytime, Saturday, April 6th at West Bay Public Library, 10 a.m. through noon. A free storytelling children's event featuring Eric Magician, sing-along, Miss Izzy. Exciting art and craft, prizes, refreshments, goodie bags. The Rotary Central Spring Storytime, Saturday, April 6th at West Bay Public Library. Children must be accompanied by adults. Rotary, creating hope in the world.
Hey there, K-Man. Have a few minutes to spare? Your Ministry for Housing has just launched the public survey for the Cayman Islands Housing Policy and Strategic Plan. We are all about making our island home even better. We need your help. It's your thoughts and ideas that will shape our housing policies for the future. Your voice matters, and it's easy to get involved. Just visit cihousingplan.org and let your voice be heard. Plus, you could catch some cool gift cards just for sharing your ideas. Don't miss out. Open through April 16th. Head to cihousingplan.org or go to the ministry's Facebook, Instagram, X, or LinkedIn now and be a part of the conversation. Your input matters more than you know. Let's make Cayman's housing future brighter. Together, your voice, your future. Take the survey today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And in the studio, Mr. Harold McCoy Jr. And I was trying to do the math as we talk about the Webster Memorial United Church. Now, you said 1846.
I think it's
thereabouts.
Yeah, thereabouts.
But you were celebrating 107. Well, 170.
170.
Okay.
Let me see if we can do some math.
Yeah, you're a mathematician now.
Yeah. No.
Wait a minute. You used to sign them checks. I mean, you should know.
You know, to signing them and figuring them out is one thing. But it's around about that time.
Well, about time, yeah. No, the only reason is that, you know, it's a long time, right? I was thinking 177, right? Because it was all my show.
I think what happened was, you know, we had the 150th. When was that? Back in... I can't remember that year. But the 175th is coming up, but people are saying, you know, something. We planners mightn't be here for that.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do the 170. That's plenty years, same way, you know?
Yeah, man, yeah.
And...
100 years more than me and you.
Yeah, plenty more. And speaking of the 170th, one of the things that we're doing is called a memorial scroll, whereby we are honoring the memory of those who were involved in the church, whether as members, whether as active people, you know, but people who were very much involved in the church over the years. So we're doing this memorial scroll. It's going to be some kind of plaque or something that, and we're asking for people to have their names or the names of whoever they want. It is $170.
Okay.
Per name, which is $1 per year, basically. And, you know, it's significant. So for all those who are listening, hearing, who have connections to Webster Memorial Church or Bordentown United Church, or some people still call it the Presbyterian Church.
Yeah.
You know, so all you there. So any of you who had grandparents or great-grandparents, aunties, whatever, who had, you know, were involved with the church, this is the time to honor them or remember them by, you know, donating $170, and their name will be placed on the scroll. And the person, as you can get on to, is Miss Elizabeth Bonilla. We know her as Lolo. So I don't know her number right off, but anyway.
I call the church office probably.
Yeah. Or get in touch with myself. My number is 526-0444, and I can direct you to her. Like I said, and this is a good opportunity for anybody who wants to get their family member or loved one or whoever commemorated and remembered by donating $170, which is not that much, you know. And we're going to make this plaque a nice...
So, Harold, with respect to thank you for letting me say it, because I still call it the Presbyterian Church, right? I still call it West Bay United Church, for instance. We know that there are different congregations, and this is for Webster Memorial United Church. Are the other United Church or the Presbyterian churches all one and the same, all part and parcel, or is it that in this, two questions, Webster Memorial, this is for their 170th anniversary, and the one connected to that, but just generally speaking, secondly, all of the United Churches are one and the same?
Well, we're all connected, you know, all part of it is, you know, different siblings, but just the same family. And because I think last year it was, or just for Ems commemorated the 100th anniversary of their church building, I think.
Yeah.
Our church building, our sanctuary was done in the 30s. So we're not quite 100 years.
Getting close.
But the congregation, you know, that was established 170 years ago.
And what's interesting, a lot, as you share, a lot of your members are getting old, but they've been there for an extended period.
Yeah.
A lot of them and their families continue, you know, to worship there.
Because, you know, originally the Presbyterian Church was the dominant church because of the fact that they were, I wouldn't say the first set of missionaries, but they were the ones that
most consistent
that held out and established churches. Because after that, other churches came back. The Baptists came back. The Anglicans came back much more recently. But then you had the Adventists, the Church of Gods, and all those. But the Presbyterian Church was the one that, you know, was the first one and the durable one, I should say. And the point is, the United Church is we use the United because it's a conjunction or a union of the Presbyterian, the Congregationalists, and the Disciples of Christ. Now, we never had Congregationalists or Disciples of Christ in Cayman. Those are in Jamaica. They had, you know, we always only had the Presbyterian Church. That's why people still refer to it as the Presbyterian Church, you know. And the reason why is because the doctrines of those three, I should say, I can't say religions, but
congregations.
Whatever, were more or less similar. They had a lot of common denominators. So that's why they decided then, you know, why fight one another when we are so similar in our doctrine that we could just combine and you know, that's then when it became the United Church of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. And then subsequently, I think when it was, the first one was the Presbyterian and the Congregationals. And that's when it was United Church of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. Then when the Disciples of Christ joined in, then they made a subtle change. It became the United Church of Jamaica, in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. Yeah. So it's just a little...
semantics almost, but significant differences in terms of application, huh?
Yeah.
But this is, and thanks for that too, because the church history, in a sense, of the Cayman Islands, we know that Pastor Randa, for instance, did one for the Baptists, and we saw their sort of presence on the BRAC and Little Cayman being more sustained, just like the Presbyterian on Grand Cayman.
Because it's funny, because the Presbyterians never did establish in Cayman BRAC. They all stayed in Cayman. So that's why in Cayman BRAC, up to this day, you don't have a United Church or a Presbyterian church or anything. It was the Baptists that went up there, and that's where they're, you know, they made...
Put their roots, huh?
Yeah, put their
roots. And they stayed there forever.
Yeah. So, but you know, it's interesting, you know, the journey, the journey that, you know, the church has made over the years, and all the, you know, and always, you know, can just imagine, you know, back in those days, Dwayne, I remember growing up in the 60s, how mosquitoes and you know, things was, you know, we never had electricity, you know, we didn't have, you know, a lot of the things that people take for granted today. You know, a lot of people never had running water. Thank God, I was fortunate where I grew up in a house that, you know, my father. But many other people and other friends didn't have, you know, the comfort of running water or that kind of stuff. And we all know about the mosquitoes. Can you imagine what it was back in 1800s? You know, and then having to get around on horse and walking, you know, rather than, and so I really, you know, think Reverend Emsley, boy, he had to be a special kind of man to endure that kind of you know, difficulty.
What's interesting though, and it's something that you have encouraged me to look at with a greater and increasing sense of respect. We look at our people, you know, earlier we were talking to, you know, good folks about the school nursing and just the renaming, you know, Miss Matron, for instance, right? We grew up knowing people by an affectionate term and never fully appreciating their proper given names, right? And yet our own people at times, we don't have the recorded history. We don't know them as publicly. Emsley, Hicks, and others perhaps are more recorded for whatever reasons. But in your district and mine, throughout the country, there are some individuals whose resolve, whose, you know, acumen was very, very, very instrumental in that district's survival.
Exactly.
Right?
You know, it's funny because just now in this process of identifying people for the Roll of Honor, or the Scroll of Honor, and names that we went to one lady in Bottom, Miss Laura Watler. She's like one of the, I think she's probably the oldest resident in Bottom right now. Memory's still good.
Yeah.
And she was, you know, she gave a list of names, and you know, when I looked at it, Shooks is people, I remember them. It's plenty of them I can remember from my youth, you know.
Yep.
Some of them are before me, but nevertheless, like you said, because they're not, you know, up front, you forget about them, you know, and you forget about the contribution because a lot of time those people they weren't working for no reward or any,
They did it because it had to be done.
They did it because it had to be done, and
That's
did it
right.
for the love of it,
Yeah.
So I think that, coming back to Scroll of Honor, I think that's why we definitely need to remember them. So anybody out there, like I said, who has family members or friends or anybody that they know of that was connected to the Webster Church, and there's so many people doing that have connections to the Bordentown United Church, that now is the time to recognize them, and at least we can put their name up for posterity.
Yeah, I appreciate you, and I'm glad that we can have this, because following the earlier discussion with Miss Maxine, for instance, there were some people who they always thought the church in town was the oldest one and whichever, and didn't appreciate Webster Memorial. All right, now I deliberately referred to the Westby one as Westby United because people before me would be more in tune to calling it the Westby Presbyterian Church, right? Only because I know one little bit about the history do I recognize it. I still have to ask our people, if we don't remember, recognize, and respect them, their contributions, and find a way to honor them, this memorial scroll, as I would call it, is one way to make that name be a part of our history and their legacy. If you don't remember, and how can people be reminded? If you don't record, and how can people be recognized?
Be reminded, yeah. I heard something the other day, somebody say, you can die twice.
Yeah.
You die physically, and you die when your memory is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the saddest one.
Yeah. Like the country song is, to be one thing to be gone but not forgotten, but to be forgotten but not gone.
Yeah.
Right? And if it's not, our ethos to record it, to recognize it, so they can be remembered and respected. At the end of the day, our history is going to be in such a way that it's revised, right? And in the Cayman context, we see it happen right before our eyes without sometimes appreciating. And look at the ensuing sort of frustrations that lead into emotive responses that people don't even know what is it that they're angst about, right? And when you reflect on it, it is because there's a change paradigm,
Yeah.
So this is where I think, talking to you, I look at you still, and as the years pass, I still see us getting closer in age and in everything else. Huh?
I gonna stop and wait for you.
Would you please? Would you please? There's not much difference now, right?
If I could.
Yeah, well, and I say that to share that you remind us of what is important. Maybe we take up the mantle now and do our part.
Yeah, and like you said, the very important point. We have been a people that we don't record. We haven't recorded much. I see that beginning to change now. People beginning to value the recorded stuff and to make note and stuff. And I think we need to even take it to higher heights. That's why I always admire Mr. Loxley.
Yeah.
Sir Lox, as I call him,
You do, yeah.
Yeah, because, the efforts that he has gone to record, make stuff, have it recorded in some shape or form so that we know.
Yeah.
Because so much of our history, is passed down. And if you don't remember it, you know what I mean? Because I remember my daddy, when he used to tell me the stories, and I used to, Daddy, you tell me that 100 times already. And he said, really?
Thank God he did.
And thank God he did, because it's the ones that he told me 100 times is the ones I remember,
But this is it, man. And I think we don't appreciate how many societies, but this one in particular is still one that has an oral history.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's ever an apology that I owe, is that, like many, I didn't pay attention sufficiently.
Exactly.
I didn't take advantage.
Yes, I always think that, when it was being told, you kind of, later for that.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that one of these days it would be so important.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But your father did two things. He recorded it in writing, and he told the stories.
Yeah.
So this is what makes us now. Harold, my friend, always a pleasure to see you. Thank you for letting me know, bro. We'll say no more.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
But next time, right?
Yeah, man. maybe I might surprise y'all before next time.
You know where she is, right?
Yeah.
In fact, she can't be far from where you are.
No. Matter of fact, I see her most Sundays anyway.
I know. All right, but thanks for coming in. And I'm hoping that through you, not only those who are connected to the Webster Memorial Church, but also as a wider community, I know I will now stop, reflect, and start to recognize, because as much as we want to respect, I don't think that we are appreciative that in our goings and in our comings, though time waits for no man, we are perhaps doing ourselves a great disservice by not doing what I think you invited us for 170. We can at least make a small start.
Oh,
all right.
exactly.
Thanks very much, man.
But thank you so much for having me.
Always a pleasure, man.
All right. Enjoy your Easter when it comes. I hope you have a good, enjoyable. You camping?
You know, ever since my uncle passed, I don't enjoy it.
Okay.
There are many reasons, and I say this, that when I become governor, it's one of the many things that I'll make a law. There should be times when there's no commercial activity. Good Friday should be one of those. As much as the kite surfing is probably a great thing, I think that Easter weekend, part of the license should be that there's no activity.
There used to be a time when I was growing up.
I remember.
Yeah, Good Friday was a solemn, sacred day.
Yeah, I remember.
You went to church and you came home and you had your dinner and that was it.
Yeah, and it's something that I think, I'm inspired by. It's Rupert. I think you know him. And from the days of the first building to the tower building to now the new building.
Yeah.
He spoke his mind in a way that as affable as ever, but he did not mince words. And I think that's where we're failing as a people, to ensure that, anyway, I should be careful before I get accused of doing something which I will do. When I do it, it'll be done.
Okay.
There enough?
Okay, man.
Okay, my brother.
Once again, thank you.
All right, tell listeners, thanks very much. Paul, what are we going to do later? Well, we'll do tomorrow. Until tomorrow, my friends. Be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway. Open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Radio K-Man.
Wanna be your love maker, wanna be the caretaker of your heart, because I loved you right from the start. Be your water when you need a drink, your lifesaver if you start to sink. I'll keep you right on top, because I love you and I just can't stop. I'll be your everything. I'll be your everything. I'll be your nighttime baby. I'll be your everything. Everything I can possibly be. I'll be your comfort and your shelter, baby. I can be your love story, your sunshine every morning. So let it be. Let it be. Take all the love you need from me. You need a lover or you want a friend, I'll be the door to let you in. So walk on through. Walk on. There's There's so much that I can do for you. I'll be your everything. I'll be your everything. I'll be your day, I'll be your night, baby. I'll be your everything. Everything I can possibly be. I'll be your comfort and your shelter, baby. Oh, you just call on me, 'cause I can be anything that you want me to be. I'll be your everything. I'll be your everything. I'll be your nighttime, baby. I'll be your everything. Yes, I'll be your everything. I'll be your comfort and your shelter, baby. I'll be your
You're the whisper of a summer breeze. You're the kiss that puts my soul at ease. What I'm saying is I'm into you. Here's my story and the story goes. You give love, you get love, and more than heaven knows. You're gonna see, I'm gonna run, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna take this love right to you. All my heart, all the joy. Oh baby, baby, please. Rush, hurry, hurry, lover, come to me. Rush, rush. I wanna see you get free with me. Rush, rush. I can feel it, I can feel you all through me. Rush, rush. Ooh, what you do to me. And all I want from you is what you are. And even if you're right next to me, you're still too far away. If I'm not inside your arms, I get dramatic, baby, yes, I know. But I need you, I want you. Oh man, I love you so. You're gonna see, I'm gonna run, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna take this love right to you. All my heart, all the joy. Oh baby, baby, please. Hurry, hurry, lover, come to me.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
This is Rakeem Lashley, and I work in the water and wastewater sector. I am concerned about the vulnerability of our island's sewage systems to climate impacts. Flooding is becoming a bigger concern due to rising sea levels and more intense rainfall events. This can compromise sanitation systems and put the health and safety of our people at risk. So protecting our environment and strengthening critical infrastructure are priorities. To learn more about the climate risks to our islands, visit www.gov.ky/climate change policy.
Social media, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Interact with our talk shows on YouTube. Download our official Radio Cayman app, or you can log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky. You can also add us to WhatsApp
on 925-3261.
All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Radio Cayman.
Someone new to talk to. Oh yeah, alright. I'm feeling kinda lonely too, if you don't mind. Can I sit down here beside you? Oh yeah, alright. If I seem to come on too strong, I hope that you will understand. I say these things cause I'd like to know if you're as lonely as I am, and if you'd mind sharing the night together. Oh, yeah, sharing the night together. Oh, yeah, sharing the night. We could bring in the morning, girl, if you wanna go that far. And if tomorrow finds us together right here, the way we are, would you mind sharing the night together? Ooh, yeah, sharing the night together. Ooh, yeah, sharing the night. Would you like to dance with me and hold me? You know I wanna be holding you. Oh yeah, alright. Cause I like feeling like I do, and I see in your eyes that you're liking it, I'm liking it too. Oh yeah, alright. Like to get to know you better. Is there a place where we can go, where we can be alone together and turn the lights down low and start sharing the night together? Yeah, sharing the night together. Yeah, sharing the night together. Sharing the night together. Sharing the night together. I'm only one call away. I'll be there to save the day. Superman got nothing on me. I'm only one call away. Call me baby if you need a friend. I just wanna give you love. Come on, come on, come on. Reaching out to you, so take a chance. No matter where you go, you know you're not alone. I'm only Superman got nothing on me. I'm only one call away. Come along with me and don't be scared. I just wanna set you free.